Hunter Biden's finally in the news about the laptop that now everybody admits. Ukraine almost started World War III, but it turned out they made the mistake. And Arizona ain't buying the vote, baby. What is up, everybody? Excited to see you guys again. Welcome to the Ross DeBoss Show. Another episode. We got Tina the Cuban in the house. Say what up, Tina. Hey. Check out her new background, y'all. You like that? That's my bookshelf for my kids that is really unorganized, but we said, you know what? That's okay. Give them some real life. So that's what we did. And we're gonna make it look a lot better over the next couple weeks. But for now, you're just gonna enjoy being a part of my actual house. Congratulations. You made it to the fly on the wall stage. You are watching literal components of my house. Well, Donald frickin' Trump is back on Twitter.
I know, right?
83 million followers. He gained in like 2 days.
You know, I think this is really going to be I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what is he going to tweet? Has he tweeted yet? Wait, let's start there.
He hasn't tweeted yet.
Okay. So when he does, because I think he's eventually going to, even if he does screenshots of his own tweets from the True Social, his own, I think that would be a good idea for him to do. But when he finally does what's that? Sorry.
That's smart.
Yeah. When he finally does utter one word on Twitter, what are the leftists going to do?
What's True Social going to do? If he says one thing to Twitter, if he said, look, Donald Trump likes a microphone. If there's one thing I know about this guy, okay, he might be a smart billionaire business dude, but the homeboy likes a microphone.
Attention.
And if you had 83 million people waiting to see what you had to say, the woke mob wasn't going to thwart the actual amount of retweets and stuff that there was, it's almost dumb not to tweet. But since he owns such a large portion of True Social, it would make sense that he wouldn't.
Well, and that's my thing. I guess my thinking behind he should do screenshots of his own tweets from Truth Social, because it would be an advertisement for his platform, and maybe he can even tease them by saying, hey, this is just one message, that my one message to Twitter a day, but on True Social I'm just tweeting a bunch of stuff, and those leftists won't be able to help themselves. They're like, let me download this True Social and see what he's saying. Like if he throws a little bait out there. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's nobody uglier than Rosie O'Donnell, but perhaps there is one person. Her name is the rest of this is on True Social.
Find out my answer. Yes, I think
very good.
That's a great marketing strategy for him.
We should call him. While we're talking to him, we could be like, hey, bro, remember whole Operation Warp Speed thing? We're going to need you to not do that shit again.
Do you want to come on the podcast?
Do you want to come on the podcast and explain yourself a little bit? You know, I know Joe Rogan won't have you on, but we will. We have a couch that's 20 years old.
You know, speaking of that, have you ever seen Joe Rogan answer that question when several people have asked him, why don't you bring Trump on? Have you seen what he said?
Whatever he said, it wasn't satisfactory to me. It was the same way that I felt about when Joe Rogan was talking to Gina Carano about there being a global elite that is attempting to do mass harm to people. And his response was, I think it's mostly incompetence that is leading to all these lockdown travesties. And I was just like, there's no way you think only that if you also know that the largest transfer of wealth in human history is occurring. There's no way that you can say there's not something else to this. You know what I mean? Because that doesn't make a lick of sense.
Yeah, his answer was, because I don't want to have political people and on my show, and then it like sways something he gave. In my opinion, it's a BS answer, because he had on Bernie Sanders. He had on
Tulsi Gabbard.
Thank you. And he's had several other political people, even if they weren't like necessarily politicians. So I kind of didn't buy that answer. But that would have been great. Honestly, if he would have had Trump on his podcast, that would have been great for his visibility and Trump's as well. But I wish he would have applied the rules like fairly.
Well, now if something like that happens in this next cycle, it won't be stopped from going viral.
Right.
Which is an interesting component to all this. So
yeah, so the Twitter, and now Twitter's free. What are your thoughts? What are you seeing in your engagement?
Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk bought Twitter. The bird has been freed, as Elon said, right? So one thing I'll say is that he put this post up the other day where he said that like free speech will be free, but we're not doing free reach. You know, which means that if you say something, he said this, if you say something negative, we're going to like, you know, make it hard to find is essentially what he said, which was interesting to me because if you follow a human being, I don't want to be stopped from seeing anything that they would post. I agreed to follow them. I want to see what they're posting. He said that they would have to go search out a post if it was negative. Well, that's kind of weird. So that was my first thought about it. My second thought about it.
I must have misunderstood. Hang on. I misunderstood that. What I got from when he was saying the reach and everything, because I did see the same report. What I got from that was that he was saying that it won't be like when people search and go to the trending. And, you know, when you just go into Twitter and see what's going on and it'll start giving you random people and random tweets and things like that. I thought it was more that kind of thing, I guess you could say. It was more... we're not going to decrease the reach to all your people that follow you, but to the rest of the world who aren't following you. That's what I gathered from it. But are you saying that he's saying that the reach is going to be stifled on their own followers?
Well, let me see what he actually technically said here. Twitter's new boss, Elon Musk, on Saturday said the microblogging platform's new policy is about freedom of speech and not freedom of reach. In one of his latest tweets, the tech billionaire who calls himself a free speech absolutist announced his decision to cut the reach of what he said were negative or hate tweets. While he didn't clarify what exactly constituted a negative or hate tweet, Musk said tweets will be max deboosted and demonetized, adding that the platform won't be earning revenue or getting advertisements in such cases. You won't find the tweet unless you specifically seek it out, which is no different from the rest of the internet, he added. He clarified that the new rule will only apply to individual tweets and not entire accounts. So... progress? I mean, maybe.
No, it is, because a lot of conservatives are stifled.
To be fair, any of this is progress. You know what I'm saying? Anything than what it was is progress. I mean, we literally had Project Veritas going in and these people saying, no, we are specifically shutting down conservative viewpoints.
Why was Project Veritas banned again?
On Twitter?
Yeah.
They said that it was for inauthentic accounts or some other dumb reason. So like somebody was messing, like something that wouldn't stand in any normal, you know, you don't have that many followers and then somebody makes like a Clint. That's almost like we filed it under the wrong thing error. You know what I mean? Like that's like, okay, that's cool for like literally 6 hours and then it's fixed. Anything after that is stupid or intentional. So that's what happened with Project Veritas. But so now obviously they're back. You know, but I'm looking at Trump's, you know, and I'm just like, bro, you could break the internet right now.
Scratch the itch. Come on.
But I think he knows it.
Yes.
What if he saved it until 1 week before the election or something like that and then just decided to blast that shit?
I hope so.
Literal pictures of Hunter Biden with 15-year-old girls and stuff like that you can't say is fake. You know what I mean? Because the laptop everybody believes now is true.
Well.
Finally.
It is. Well, no, I feel like everyone
who knew about it on the conservative side, anybody who knew about it, you're right. Anybody who knew about it knew it was real from the jump, which is why we were pissed pre-election 2020 because they shut it all down and didn't let it go viral. And they even banned accounts that tried to share that Hunter Biden laptop.
Yes.
So they went all
New York Post.
One of the oldest newspapers in the entire United States is New York Post. And they said, you aren't allowed to share this.
Yeah. Didn't they suspended their account and everything.
They did. Yeah. So
the FBI, remember, also during the Joe Rogan podcast with Mark Zuckerberg, he even said that, so, you know, the FBI is going to come to you with, you know, some you're gonna get information on like a laptop, and we just want to let you know it's a Russian disinformation.
Yeah, the
So
FBI,
they
from
were
Mark Zuckerberg's
actively-
own words, he
Yes.
told Joe Rogan, he said to him, first off, the FBI came to me
Mhm.
and they said to us, there is going to be some Russian disinformation. You need to be prepared for it. So if something
Mhm.
breaks and
Something
it seems
crazy,
like this,
yeah.
you need to be aware that's Russian disinformation.
Mhm.
So the FBI showed up to tell him to police speech that was not favoring one political person.
Well, no, not even getting this story out. No, stifle this story, because he says during the podcast that, oh, they just told us some, stories are going to come out just to be aware of it. You know that was more detailed. He's just trying not to say what they told him was like specifically true. You
Right.
know that was more detailed. And they say, oh, if there's the laptop story, that's fake. And if there's this story, that's fake. And if they're saying that Trump's ties with Russia are fake, well, that one, no, we need to push that it is real. Like, there was a specific list. He just didn't talk about it.
So the other thing that's interesting is the FBI was found out to have multiple agents on January 6th, provocateurs. It
Ray
seems to be
Epps?
true, allegedly, okay? In my
Allegedly,
opinion.
Yes.
They found out that there was FBI agents, like we all said that there was,
Mhm.
like we all said. That was true.
Instigators. We said there was instigators, but I don't think any of us knew that it'd be like very few of us thought it'd be the actual FBI. We thought it was more like paid.
Right.
Protester.
Individual contractors.
Right.
Or
There you
independent contractors that the FBI worked alongside of to gather intel and also to facilitate encouraging conversations to have people break the law so they could unjustly enforce the law in order to win their political case nationally, which is basically what's happened. Is the FBI has been weaponized against the conservative people in the United States and conservative ideas to label them basically as terrorists, which is what the Homeland Security, the DHS, clearly lays out their criteria for being a domestic terrorist. And
Right.
if you're conservative and you believe in the value of the Constitution and the Second Amendment, you are on that list already by just their standards. And I can go over what I mean if anybody wants to
You have
challenge
like "Don't
me. But
tread on me" and Gadsden flag or whatever. If you go to a school board meeting and not want your third grader to know about like all these different sexualities, you were basically put on that terrorist list. Like literally, they were investigating a bunch of, because this came out, I think Jim Jordan said this when they talked about the investigation into the Hunter Biden laptop, talking about the DOJ and the FBI having parents who were just going to school board meetings, exercising their rights, our rights as citizens to go to school board meetings and
participate.
Tell our thoughts, as crazy as they might be. If there's one crazy person, they still have a right to go there and go to your meeting and still spew whatever it is they're saying, even if it's like the crazy guy. He still has that right. They were taking parents who exercised their right to say that they didn't want their third graders learning about sexualities, plural, and they were put on domestic terrorist lists that FBI agents were doing actual work, meaning man hours that our taxes pay for, was being paid for to investigate, an FBI agent or several to investigate these parents instead of like real cartels that are operating right within our borders and so many other very, very crazy and illegal things that are going on.
Right.
I mean,
there's a million things they could pick. There's a million things they could pick to go after. One of them is the Hunter Biden laptop.
right.
I remember when I think it's Josh Hawley or somebody was questioning the FBI guy, and he in front of governmental.
It was.
And he goes, so we gave you the laptop. We gave it to you. We all have copies of it right now. It was Matt Gaetz.
No, you're right. It was Josh Hawley.
And
right
so
now.
anyway, he said all this, and then he goes, "Do you have where is the laptop?" And he goes, "I don't know." It's like, how's the FBI not know where the thing we gave the FBI concerning the president's son that now we know is legit? So anyway, if anybody ever thought that the FBI was just like blindly trying to do justice, no way, not at all. Which makes sense in a country where you don't want the people to, actually have that level of, say in what the government's going to do. When big interests start to collide with free citizens' interests, well, then you don't want the citizens to be free, especially not ideologically. You have to shut them down somehow. So you have to start calling their ideas that have always existed as fringe and terroristic, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get everybody to agree with you to demonize them. Because if we just hit rewind 15 years, everything they believe, mostly, meaning conservative people today, everything they believe is what you believed 10 years ago. Everybody. So, yeah, their thoughts, I'm not saying I believe this, YouTube, but their thoughts that only boys can be boys and only girls can be girls, their thoughts have been around for literally 10,000 years of human history. So yeah. Anyway.
No, you're right. I was just looking up. It was Josh Hawley, and he was questioning the FBI director. Did you know this part too? I saw this on the news the other day. Josh Hawley, when he was questioning the FBI director and basically saying he wouldn't give him a yes or no answer. They won't give him a yes or no answer on were there FBI agents on the grounds January 6th. They will not give a definitive yes or no.
Right. That was that real Southern guy that talks like this. And he was over in the corner. And he goes, it seems like it should just be a simple no.
Well, Josh Hawley also was asking that. But when they were when they were doing these hearings a year ago, I didn't know this happened. And I'm sure you didn't hear about it. This FBI director, the conservative, you're allotted all this time, and the conservative had this slot of time, and they just needed like 20 minutes apparently to ask their questions, right? He left early to go on vacation, skimped out on those hearings to go on vacation. I mean, these were important. These were important questions. How are they allowed to do that? Could you imagine if you or I even went to our regular job at, let's just say, McDonald's or something, and we say, oh, no, we need to leave 20 minutes early for our vacation.
Right. That would be especially at a crucial time.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about crucial stuff. And the only people who don't think it's crucial are people that are left. And that's because they don't want this to dig any further, know? Right. And that's the thing, when we get into the weeds and all this, and we start now that we know that we're right about everything that we said, because it's all coming out and we were right and we were accurate and they censored true information. Now that is the case, it's important to remember when you're dealing with people that they were wrong and proven wrong. So whenever we have situations like this, where it's like, okay, the Hunter Biden laptop is officially legitimate now. Okay. Right. Now it's officially legitimate. Here's the proof of them finally admitting that it's legitimate, right? So I take these little bite-sized things where I go, because the truth has to be established through history somehow, right? Mm-hmm. So in my mind, I've got all these different events that have happened that have proved, like Kevin Kleinsmith, right? Like, was there lying to the FBI in order to be able to spy on Trump, right? Was that corrupt? Yeah, Kevin Kleinsmith got charged with lying on a FISA warrant, right? So I know that he was charged with the crime that gave them the ability to be able to go get more information about Trump, right? So I know that that's in my record book mentally now. Okay. So if somebody ever says to me, they found out that nothing happened with that, they were all innocent, Trump was being stupid. Nope. Kevin Kleinsmith went to jail. Here it is. Tell me I'm wrong. So it's kind of like, they're kind of like pillars that occur that I can point at and go, if you're on the left and you still think this whole narrative's true, this is something that should make you think that's stupid. Right. And now that this has happened, and even CBS is going, turns out this is official. Great. So what exactly was in the Hunter Biden laptop again? And then you go back through. Oh, okay. So that means Tony Bobulinski wasn't crazy at all. That the 10% for the big guy, which Tony Bobulinski signed an affidavit and gave a public speech about, saying that it was Joe Biden making money on the foreign business deals as vice president, was real.
100% real.
What? So now it's real. So bring back all the lefties that wanted to talk shit to me. When we've been saying this, but now the truth came out. We were right again. You stinking stinkers.
Yeah, exactly. And what is it? What are we hearing? Mum's the word.
Nothing
Except
about
for CBS coming out and finally doing a story on it, which
I want to hear The View grovel. That's what I want to hear. If I could have my pick, I would have The View, and all of them had to eat Alka-Seltzers right before, and then they have to drink Sprite. And then they have to explain why they were wrong. So they're just frothing at the mouth, and I could just see it happen. Well, we were right about this originally, but then all of a sudden, and it's just overflowing foam out of their mouth. So
I
just
know.
for funds, just for funsies.
No, I honestly, do you really think those are women? Women are not going to admit when they're wrong. I'm sorry, that's a group of women. No way, it ain't happening. If it does, I don't know. Maybe we should make like a challenge or something. But I don't know. It's not happening.
Well, so speaking of women and men, a lot of this woke cancer, a lot of this like ideology that's coming from, you know, the left and the educational centers and all that revolves a little bit around the teachers unions.
Absolutely.
You know, teachers unions have a massive grip on a lot of what's happening right now. And there's just, I want to just show you this thing. So can you pull up that story real quick? I want everybody to see this thing. So this is just one occasion, obviously, but it's a California high school teachers. He's the former teachers union president and gay club advisor. There's a gay club. Let's just start there. Okay, that's weird. But anyway, he was caught soliciting an underage boy, and the older brother confronts him in a viral video.
Oh, I
So
didn't know
scroll
there was
down.
a video.
Yeah, it's got a green button on it. Just
No,
keep-
I heard about the story. I mean, I didn't know there was a video that went with it. Wow. Okay.
There it is.
You want to have a conversation, man? Remember that kid in Cyprus you were talking to?
No.
No, you don't remember? Are you sure?
Okay. Is there?
The one, the hotel, the apartment complex that you went to? Johnny or Trey? You remember that kid you were talking to recently?
No.
Really? Why do I have a conversation about it then? Why were you talking to my little brother?
I wasn't talking to your little brother.
You weren't? You want to have a conversation about it?
No.
No? You want me to go outside and just call the cops?
No.
What do you think Tunson would think about this?
Who?
Your work, bro. Your work. What do you think your work would think about this?
Okay. I didn't do anything.
You didn't do anything? Do you want to talk about it or no?
I don't want to talk about it.
So you just want me to go outside and call the cops?
I didn't do anything.
Let's talk about this then. I have a conversation here that says otherwise, man.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Really? Here, let me pull it up for you. Let me show you a picture of you outside of my apartment complex looking for my little brother. You want to act stupid? Obviously, I'm not a cop, man. I just want to have a conversation with you. But if you don't, I'm only filming so you keep your hands to yourself. That's the only reason why I have cameras on. So if you can keep your hands to yourself, then this conversation will go fluid. But you're lying to me right now, Roger.
Okay.
Because right here on my phone, I have a conversation with you talking to my little brother sexually.
I never said anything.
Oh,
sexual.
never. So you were talking to somebody? You remember the conversation?
I don't know who your little brother is.
Okay, let me show you a picture of him. All right.
You need to turn off the phone.
Okay, I'll put it. Let's look at this, Roger. You remember the countdown that you gave, the 10 through 0 countdown before you told him goodbye? Remember that?
Okay.
It's about time you just be honest, dude. I see you got a ring on your finger. Is there anyone else here?
Okay.
Is there anybody else here, Roger?
No, there's no.
You want me to leave? I can just call the cops. Or we can just talk, man. Do you want to talk about this? Why were you outside of my apartment complex? You don't remember sending this picture, Roger?
Okay. I don't know where you live.
Roger, do you remember sending this picture, yes or no?
I don't know who your little brother is. I don't know anything.
You don't remember
about
sending this sunset picture to my little brother?
Read his
don't know.
shirt.
No? You don't remember this kid?
Okay, that kid looks familiar.
You remember him, right, Roger?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about this or no?
I really don't.
I can just call the cops.
I didn't do anything wrong.
You didn't do anything wrong, so did you have this conversation, yes or no?
I had a conversation with that kid.
Okay, so now you're being honest.
Well, I don't know who you are.
I'm his brother.
Okay.
He told me he's been talking. How old are you? Why are you standing outside?
Okay, because
I'm not here to hurt you.
I don't know that.
I want to talk. Do I have any weapons?
I don't know. You're wearing a jacket.
I'm wearing a jacket
You're
that has a
wearing-
camera, bro.
No, there's bulges
Yes,
in your jacket.
yes.
I
This
don't
is
know what
another
that
camera. This is another camera.
Okay.
Why are you leaving your own house?
Because I don't know what you have in your pocket.
Is this a picture? Is this a picture? You were talking to this kid, right?
Okay, I need you to.
So you want me to just call the cops then?
I
That's
didn't
what you
do-
want. That's what you
I-
want me to
I
do,
didn't
Roger.
do anything wrong.
Roger, so I'll just call the cops, dude.
I
If you
didn't
don't
do-
want to talk,
I didn't do
you didn't do
anything
anything wrong. Then why don't you want to talk about this?
I didn't do anything wrong.
You think talking to a kid off of Grindr is not doing anything wrong, Roger?
I didn't do anything wrong.
Is that how you feel?
I didn't do
Okay,
anything wrong.
I'm just gonna call the cops and let them figure that out then, Roger.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Okay, I'll let your work figure that out too.
I didn't do anything
You
wrong.
didn't do anything wrong. You keep fucking saying that. You want me to call the cops, huh, Roger?
I didn't do anything wrong.
You didn't do anything wrong?
Look, Roger knows he better
Oh my
chill out
God,
because he's about to get his
Roger.
ass beat.
I'm trying to be peaceful with you, buddy. Do you want to talk about this or no? You don't think you did anything wrong? I want to educate you if you don't think you did anything wrong here. Why'd you back out if you didn't do anything wrong, Roger? Why'd you back out? Why were you asking for so many verifying photos from this kid? A picture on top of your head. Send me a video that says hi. Why did you want this kid to prove that he was real, Roger?
Because I was afraid of something like this.
You were afraid.
happening.
So you were having a conversation with what you thought was a kid, right, Roger?
No.
Then what is this, Roger?
When you're on Grindr, you're 18 years old.
Oh, okay. So when someone tells you they're younger, Roger, what does that mean, Roger?
Well, then they're being disingenuous.
Let's read it. There's a lot to read.
He knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing, man. He was like, I had to make sure it wasn't something like this. So that dude was he's a high school teacher, number one. He's Californian, obviously. I mean, that comes without saying, right? He was the gay club, I guess, leader
Yeah, I'm
of
trying
the
to.
after school gay club or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the president of the teachers union.
Mm-hmm.
And he also was touching kids. That reminds me of this Balenciaga, what's it called?
Mm-hmm. Sorry. He's teaching now too at a high school
Oh boy.
in Tustin, California.
Oh, that's why he said, what is Tustin going to say about this? Hopefully they fire his
that's what he
ass.
meant.
This reminds me of the Balenciaga thing.
Balenciaga?
Yes.
Oh, excuse me. Yep, Balenciaga.
So Balenciaga got caught.
Really?
They were holding bondage teddy bears and stuff like that in the photos. And so Balenciaga apologizes after disgusting ads of children holding bondage teddy bears sparks backlash.
What?
Yeah, they're saying that it sparked a crazy conspiracy theory. What's the conspiracy theory? That you had pictures of kids with bondage gear, not on, but just around them? You sick fucks. You know what I mean? Like, I hate how they label everything a damn conspiracy theory in order to deflate the amount of reaction that it rightly deserves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of this shit. And you know what? Like, lying's a pretty big deal. Like if you were God and you were like, there's a couple things you can't do, like, thou shalt not bear false witness. You know what I mean? Well, we see what happens when people bear false witness. It's like, it plagues our entire society as lies and deception make justice take forever to occur.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you just never know what's the truth. And then when the truth does comes out, you get this weird watered down justice practice,
Like the women do when they get caught. Work around it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, when women get caught doing something, there's like this. They don't ever just like fess up and eat the humble pie altogether. Well, neither does anybody in media.
That's why then, you know what? The other day, see, that makes sense. The other day, somebody was trying to make a big deal about Elon Musk buying Twitter and saying that, all these people are leaving. CBS News is leaving, even though they got back within 24 hours.
Yeah, that was funny.
Balenciaga had deleted their Twitter, and that's why.
Yeah, so here, let me show you this.
Somebody was trying to say it was because of Twitter being taken over by Elon Musk, and it wasn't.
Gift shop. You can see what's in the gift shop there on the right. Right. Look at that. Look at that teddy bear.
Mm-hmm. Fishnets.
Fishnet.
Mm-hmm.
There's some weird stuff going on here. Period. Right. So anyway, zoom into that. Right.
Okay.
And what you find is there's a free speech coalition thing that they were looking at, and it was talking about if you were to create, this was in the image that they were sending out. Okay. This picture, this weird edge of a paper was in the image that they were sending out. And in it, if you look at what it's referencing,
yes,
the speech coalition and all that, it's referencing whether it is upheld by the Supreme Court or not to create animated child porn. That's what this is referencing in the photo at Balenciaga
No.
in their photo shoot. And then you've got these
No.
weird photos of freaking kids. So don't tell me that you're going to apologize about something like this. What happened? That's what we need to figure out. What the flip happened?
They left that in there on purpose.
They had to have left it in there on purpose.
They're showing there. I'm zooming in on it.
Okay, yeah. So scroll down a little bit on that page and look what it says here. So I love that Twitter added this, by the way. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. Although Shu often makes comments to cause amusement or laughter, this is an authentic Balenciaga marketing photograph. So it's authentic, number one. And then number two, it contains an excerpt. It contains an excerpt from the U.S. Supreme Court opinion in the United States versus Williams, which upheld part of federal child pornography law. So this is what it's talking about. The act specifically prescribed computer-generated or altered depictions of minors engaged in an explicit sexual conduct, so-called virtual child pornography, and images of explicit sexual conduct by adults who resemble minors. The court ruled that the law's expanded definition of child pornography has included any image that appears to be of a minor engaging in sexually explicit conduct or that is presented in such a manner that conveys the impression that it is of a minor engaging in sexually explicit conduct would criminalize images that are not obscene and images that were not produced with any real children. So I don't know what they were going for here. I don't quite get it, but there's only so many things you can do surrounding sex and surrounding kids. And like, there's only so many things you can do before I'm just like, hey, you know what I've never done? Had any conversation related to anything related to or surrounding the idea of child doing anything related to sex. Never happened. You're not going to find a weird recording of me saying some weird shit like they did with that teacher at the bar, the Project Veritas guys. Yep. Again, like these teachers, man. And they say that they stifle a lot of the reports, but teachers touching kids is the largest complaint I think that happens in the United States, allegedly, in my opinion.
Why is it on mainstream news as a epidemic or pandemic? That is a problem.
Well, we saw how far these tentacles reach, man. These tentacles of the people that are controlling everything, like Kanye's trainer, controlling what he was allowed to say and think and telling him, I'm going to put you back on drugs if you disagree. It's like, ooh, this is okay. So we're seeing how they control the narrative in real time. We're watching it.
That was crazy. I didn't know that about the Balenciaga thing because when, like I said, I was reading a report that people were trying to say, see, look, all these major name brands and things are leaving Twitter because of Elon Musk taking over. And it turns out that's why Balenciaga deleted their stuff. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How crooked, right?
I mean,
that you weren't presented
I'm
that.
kind of floored. Why did I not? Why isn't that not a bigger story
for anybody?
For
anybody. That's the thing about the media. You know, we were talking about this on the phone earlier, that every news organization used to have somebody that felt like they were,
that one
wavy TV 10 on your side. You know, like who's the person that's my guy in the fight, trying to make sure that we're not getting screwed. And we used to have that. Probably 50 years ago or something. I don't know when the last time they actually were not bought out, because Operation Mockingbird, which was in full effect.
What was up Mockingbird again?
Mockingbird is when the CIA had 200 to 500 CIA agents that had infiltrated all of the news organizations and would spout out whatever the CIA told them to make the people believe.
I didn't know that. We need to get rid of these 3-letter agencies.
Seriously, man. EPA, FDA, CDC, friggin' CIA, FBI, all these guys are shit at their job and end up eventually just being a vehicle of corruption to further some cause that citizens would not want to occur.
And it's happening in all of them.
Yeah. Like, what has the FBI done in the last year that I can look at and go, well, at least they blah, 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 blah. I can think of 10 things that I'm going, you are running in the complete opposite direction of helpful in these 10 massive incidences that had something to do with the way that our entire country is run.
I got it. They sent 10 field agents out to check. You remember Bubba Wallace, the NASCAR driver, said that the garage. The
shoestring, sized rope that was in the shape of a noose.
Because it was a
10 FBI agents. Yeah, it was on the bottom of a
So
garage door, right? For you to be able
It's
to
a
pull the
handle.
garage door down. Yeah.
They all had it. Like apparently they all had it like that. Some form of it.
Bubble wallet. Could you imagine? Man, and NHL went woke. You know, I thought NFL should never go woke. MLB should never go woke. But if I was going to do like a chart of which things I think would go woke first, it would be like tennis, swimming, and then it would have been like all the women's sports because they get to have the biggest say and they're the largest compassionate people that aren't using logic to make decisions. No offense. Right. But so like the women's, team of soccer is always like, how many rainbows can I shove in my outfit? You know what I mean? Like it's just ridiculous. So soccer, I feel like would have come, right? Obviously. Right. And then baseball and then football and then NHL, hockey, and then fighting, like UFC. Like that's the order of how I think this would kind of go.
Yeah.
But the NHL coming out, and what was their tweet? Trans women are women.
Something
Trans
like
men
that.
are men. Non-binary gender does exist, was what they said, or something. And it's just factually, you're wrong.
But why?
In my opinion.
Why?
In my opinion. Why what? Why did they say that now?
Why did
I have
they
no
even
idea.
put their hat in that ring?
I don't know.
Is it their social media person?
I don't know. Whoever the CEO of the NHL, however that works.
Yeah.
Okay. They have him on video gargling on some nuts.
What?
Probably.
Oh.
Allegedly. Okay. I think that the global elite have this dude. So the CIA does this thing when they want to topple other regimes in other countries. Okay. They go in, they bring 17-year-old hot chicks. They get everybody drunk. They get video of the politicians making out with a 17-year-old chick. Then they go, hey, do what we want when we want, and everything will be good for you. The media does the same thing. That's why they were trying to corner Kanye. That's what Kanye was talking about. Kanye was saying, I've not killed anybody, so they can't do this stuff to me, whatever. That's everywhere, right? So anyway, the only reason the NHL puts a tweet out like that is because they were told to. Because as well as I know, the average hockey fan, 40-year-old dude ready to scrap on the side of the road right now that loves fucking hockey, right? That guy is not saying in between his bites of ribs, he's not saying trans women are women.
Yeah.
And trans men are men.
That's not even in his list.
And non-binary, blah, 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 blah. They don't even know that language. So there's no way you did this for your populace. And there's no way they did the same shit in NASCAR for their population, the people that watch them. So somebody owes somebody a favor that helped them get the job of being the person that decides what gets tweeted. And they owed somebody the favor and they had to push the stupid agenda to make sure it just go a little further. They had to go to the corner of masculinity, way deep into NHL and go, even there, you're not safe. You can be a chick if you want to be, or whatever. And it's like, so that's what's happening. They owed somebody a favor and they did it. And I know I'm right. I just know it. I don't care how anybody feels. I know I'm right. There's no way that a dude just decided to do that shit to people that have no business tweeting that at all. Mm-mm. So that's my opinion. I think I'm right though.
I think you are too. That makes sense.
There's no way. There's no way you just decide to go against the people that pay all your tickets and pay for all your shit and just shit in their face. How many hockey fans do you think wanted to see that tweet? It has to be less than 10%.
And they weren't like begging for that either.
Right. So it has to be less. Well, yes, there's some female hockey league we don't know about that's trying to get noticed.
Not with an NHL, at least.
Yes, there's some trans athlete that really wants to join the men's league and get their ass whipped and sit on the bench otherwise. No.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking to less than 10% of the population of hockey fans. In my opinion, probably more like 3% or less, right? Yeah. But I can't say that because I'm trying to be generous. So that tweet was made for 10% or less of hockey fans, and it probably pissed off more than 35% of hockey fans. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a decision rooted in financial gain on the surface. But if you had some other gain that happened in the past that gave you the seat, it makes sense that you would pay back that due now. And
I think you're right.
try to help men get closer to gargling on balls themselves.
I think you're right. That does make sense why it would come out just out
Right.
of the blue.
It's almost like we were talking about like a herd of rhinoceros, you know? The herd of rhinoceri are approaching what is supposed to be their waterhole. However, the leopards have taken residence. Trans women are women. Trans men are men.
Oh my God. And then go right back.
You're
to
just
it.
like, what?
Oh, God. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what the hell?
No, it was,
You know, and it was so specific.
It was very that.
Trans women are women. Trans men are men. Non-binary genders do exist.
What is it?
And it's just it's like one of those Taylor Swift tweets that has all of the so when I was in sales for a long time, we would we would text message some of the customers or the potential customers, and we would say things like really specific information to basically position the person to be in a more ready position to buy, you know, or whatever.
Okay.
Right? When you go look at some of Taylor Swift's tweets over the last like 6 years, there's some that are completely off topic of whatever she's talking about at a random time. And it's like they're pre-prepared for her and have a very specific amount of emotional and social and cultural manipulation inside of them. We won't let this happen to us again. We stand firm against everything that Donald Trump, very specific, like guide the sheep to do XYZ with this massive tweet. And we're going to get our guys at Twitter to boost it.
Okay.
Go, right? So they've got all these ways of herding the buffalo in the directions that they want, right? I said this analogy the other day, but it's kind of like the global elite have 1 million gerbils all in this giant gerbil maze that kind of gets them more money some kind of way, okay? Mm-hmm. They'll pluck a gerbil out of the gerbil midst, if you will, and they'll go, we're going to give you everything, gerbil. And the gerbil's like, oh God, I didn't deserve any of this. So I guess thanks. And whatever you tell me to do, I'll do. And they go, perfect. John Fetterman. Right. Well, so anyway, they go, here's the gerbil. Here's what we want you to do. Say this, say this, say this. And we're going to put you on all these gerbil billboards. So all the 1 million gerbils are just going to be seeing your face everywhere, but you're going to say what the hell we want. And if you get out of line, we'll squash you. Is that fair? Sounds good. They release the gerbil. They give him 50,000 Twitter followers per day for a month. Oh my God, he's famous now. Wow. Right. And then now now he gets invited onto the circuit. He comes on The View. He comes on the Ellen Show. He comes on the whatever. So they're doing the circuit for him because they promised him the world after they made the gerbil make out with an underage gerbil on video. So they have it so they can use it against the gerbil in the future to confuse all the rest of the gerbils. Okay. And that's a weird analogy. No. But so I think what happens is they go, we traditionally have 16 gerbils that we control to help control the 1 million. Are good with the mother's gerbil over here, Martha Stewart. We're going to have this gerbil do this and say this thing, or else we're going to throw her under the bus. So they're basically using gerbil puppets to say what they want to be said to control the 1 million gerbils as best as they can, right? And the purpose of it is to make the gerbils not want to rise against the elites, period. Which is why they're demasculating every single chance they can. They're chopping the feet out of men in our education system, which is just some more of those billboards, right? All of it. So those same elite basically own everything, and they're basically trying to make it so that they never get challenged in the future. Which the way that you do that is you annihilate anybody that would challenge you. And who are the primary usurpers and challengers throughout all of history of other strong males? Males that are also annoyed and strong. So we got to get rid of them. How do we do that? Pump up women leadership and women's strength as much as we can and degrade men as much as we can. So they started that in our generation with Men Are Stupid commercials nonstop. Everybody Loves Raymond, King of Queens, all these shows and kind of types that are like, men are stupid, we're aloof, and we just don't know anything. Wife's actually right. She runs the house. I'm not allowed to talk back to her, or else she'll put me in the doghouse. That was like the thing they beat into everybody's brain for like 15 years. And then after that, it was men are shit. That's kind of what happened. Men are shit and unnecessary.
Oh, yeah.
They're unnecessary. We can reproduce without you. We don't actually need you. Oh, yeah? How's your power coming to your house? You know what I'm saying? Like, so Anyway, that's what's happened. And all of it is not because there's actually this war on men. It's because the elite have a war on anybody that would challenge their position, which has to be a war on men. So anyway, I know that was a massive ass explanation of specifically what's happening in the world today. But if you've been wondering and wanted to have somebody break it down to you in gerbil mode, why everything you're seeing and you see weird shit like the NHL saying trans women are women, or whatever, it's because they put the gerbil in their position of power and now the gerbil has to play for them. That's my feelings.
No, I think you're right.
Well, guys, thanks for jumping into another episode of the Ross the Boss Show. Be sure to keep on the lookout for the next episode. Usually they're coming out weekly on YouTube and everywhere else. So pay attention. I've also joined in with a new media company. You guys are going to be loving it soon. God bless. Talk to you soon. Hang in there.